Peace to all. I'm presently reading a very powerful book by a Jewish psychiatrist, Arthur Kleinman, and he writes about how he's taking care of his wife who has Alzheimer's. And it's about the nature of caregiving. I know that so many people these days, certainly here at the cathedral and all over, are taking care of sick spouses or children with disabilities or elderly parents or people at the end of their life. And certainly they're wonderful people, and there's tremendous stress that is placed on a caregiver. This book is powerful in the sense that he shares so many stories about his life with his wife and how he's caring for her during her Alzheimer's disease. It might be somewhat painful for some to read because there's some powerful stories in there. But as one reviewer wrote about this book, The Soul of Care, which is the title of it, he said the book is a testament to perseverance. Kleinman experiences what the American writer and philosopher Susan Sontag refers to as the night side of life, the kingdom of the sick, in her work Illness as Metaphor from 1978. The reviewer goes on, in that sense, Kleinman's account is daring us to invite suffering and the illness of others into our lives. That's difficult. Kleinman, as the reviewer goes on, says, he eschews any romantic notion of caring as a noble endeavor. Like the biblical Job, he says, he's a righteous man enduring the hardships of caring while struggling to remain faithful to his wife's diminishing quality of life. So for Kleinman, caring's a moral enterprise. It is a powerful book. Let me just share a few quotes. Kleinman says, caregiving is about more than taking care of someone's physical needs. It is about witnessing their suffering and staying with them through it. He writes, to care is to grieve. Every act of caregiving is an act of love, and every act of love is shadowed by grief. He says about his wife in caring for Joan, I learned more about what it means to be a doctor than I ever did in medical school or in clinical practice. He writes about empathy, which is not just a clinical skill, it's a moral act. It requires us to put ourselves in another's place, to see the world through their eyes and to feel their pain as our own. He says the soul of care is found in the everyday acts of kindness and compassion that sustain us through the darkest times. He writes that as a society, we need to recognize the value of caregiving and provide the support and resources necessary to sustain those who give so much of themselves to others. And then he says, my experience as a caregiver taught me that the boundaries between the personal and the professional are not as clear as we often imagine. The lessons I learned at home deeply informed my work as a doctor and vice versa. Powerful book for all those who are caregiving, wives or husbands, children, parents. Very difficult task. We pray for all of you that God's grace will be with you. Have a peaceful week.